the channel for westerns and more.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
My choice, 1970s westerns. Okay, this could easily be a list of 20 or even 40. It wasn't an easy task. Already I'm forcing myself not to change some. A strange decade for westerns, many subgenres popping up, a mixed bag. These are my top 10, but not ranked. That would be a near impossible task for me. Let me know your list in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, hit the subscription button to get my new videos. To check out my many other videos, head to my channel. The link is in the description. Without delay, let's get into it. Little Big Man, an early revisionist western in its sympathetic depiction of Native Americans and its exposure of the villainous practices of the United States cavalry, using elements of satire and tragedy to examine prejudice and injustice. Little Big Man is an anti-establishment film of the period, indirectly protesting America's involvement in the Vietnam War by portraying the United States Armed Forces negatively. A unique and compelling western for the time. The Shootist, sheriff turned gunfighter, John Bernard, J.B. Brooks, has committed 30-plus killings. Now an older man, Brooks arrives in Carson City in January 1901. Soon confronted by an armed robber, he quickly disarms by wounding him. He later has another confrontation with dairyman J. Cobb. However, Cobb's assistant, Gillum Rogers, verbally diffuses the situation. Brooks then visits Dr. E.W., Doc Hostetler, a physician who treated his gunshot wounds 15 years before. Hostetler confirms that Brooks has terminal cancer and has only months to live. Prescribed laudanum to ease his pain, but learns that his condition will eventually become unbearable. Hostetler remarks that if he had Brooks's courage, a painful death from cancer is not the one he would choose. Both Wayne and Stewart's last western, the end of an era.
Well, I heard that you were in town for a very short time.
Hey, Beckham, the Undertaker, sir.
Oh, Beckham, you're going to do to me what they did to John Wesley Hardin. You're going to lay me out, let the public come by and gawp at me for 50 cents a head.
Mr. Brooks, you're a hard man.
Brooks, it's pure pleasure to groom your horse, and even a greater pleasure.
This is 1901. The old days are gone, and you don't know it. You've plain plumb outlived your time.
The most celebrated shootist extant.
Extent.
Everybody knows who you are. I'd be Mrs. J.B. Brooks. I'd be...
Brooks is cashing in.
That's hard news. That's a man I could have taken.
This film has the makings of a classic.
I would not die a death like I just described. Not if I had your courage.
In it, John Wayne gives the most remarkable performance of his career.
I'm a dying man, scared of the dark.
As he recreates the final days
There's more to being a man than handling a gun.
of the man they called the Shootist.
Jeremiah Johnson, a Mexican war veteran, takes up the life of a mountain man, supporting himself in the Rocky Mountains as a trapper. His first winter is difficult. He has a run-in with Paints His Shirt Red, a chief of the Crow tribe. He starts out with a .30 caliber Hawken percussion rifle, which he uses as his main rifle until he finds the frozen body of a mountain man, Hatchet Jack, clutching a .50 caliber Hawken rifle. Jack's will gives his rifle to the man who finds his corpse. With his new rifle, Johnson inadvertently disrupts the grizzly bear hunt of an elderly and eccentric Chris Lapp, nicknamed Bear Claw, who mentors him on living in the high country. after a brush with crows, including lapsed acquaintance, paints his shirt red, and learning the skills to survive, Johnson sets out on his own. A man alone against the elements was the aspect that I loved.
The trail was wide and narrow. The eagle or the sparrow showed the path he was to follow.
Are you all right?
Sure. I got a fine horse under me.
A mountain man's a lonely man and he leaves a lot behind.
How's the war going?
Which war?
It ought to have been different, but you oftentimes will find that the story doesn't always go the way you had in mind.
If you value your hair, you will get married.
Jeremiah's story was that kind.
He was a man the Indians prayed to and cursed and tried to kill. Robert Redford as Jeremiah Johnson. Some say he's dead. Some say he never will.
The outlaw Josie Wales, a Missouri farmer driven to revenge by the murder of his wife and young son by a band of redlegs, a unit of pro-union Jayhawker militants from Senator James Lane's Kansas Brigade, led by the brutal Captain Terrell. After grieving and burying his wife and son, Wales practices shooting a gun before joining a group of pro-Confederate Missouri bushwhackers, led by William Anderson, taking part in attacks on Union sympathizers and Army units. At the conclusion of the war, Josie's friend and superior, Captain Fletcher, persuades the guerrillas to surrender, having been promised by Senator Lane that they will be granted amnesty. Wales refuses to surrender. As a result, he and a young guerrilla named Jamie are the only survivors when Terrell's Redlegs massacre the surrendering men. Wales intervenes and wipes out many of the Redlegs with a Gatling gun before fleeing with Jamie, who dies from a bullet wound sustained in the massacre after helping Josie kill 2 pursuing bounty hunters. Wales and his easygoing, calm manner was what got me.
Got the Josie Wales, Abe. We got reward money coming.
You're wanted, Wales.
You a bounty hunter?
Yeah, he's got to do something for a living these days.
Dying ain't much of a living, boy.
He was out for revenge, and they were out for his blood. And when you're an outlaw, there's no turning back.
You're all alone now, Wales.
Not quite alone.
He lives by the gun. He lives by his word. And he lives for revenge. He's an army of one. Clint Eastwood is the...
Blazing Saddles. On the American frontier of 1874, a new railroad under construction will have to be rerouted through the town of Rock Ridge to avoid quicksand. Realizing this will make Rock Ridge worth millions, Territorial Attorney General Hedley Lamar plans to force Rock Ridge's residents out of the town and sends a gang of thugs, led by his flunky, Taggart, to shoot the sheriff and trash the town. The townspeople demand that Governor William J. LaPetamine appoint a new sheriff to protect them. Lamar persuades dim-witted LaPetamine to appoint Bart, a black railroad worker about to be executed for assaulting Taggart. A black sheriff will offend the townspeople, create chaos, and leave Rock Ridge at his mercy. This movie reinvented comedy into the Western genre.
Clumsy fool. I'm sorry. Wait a minute. There might be legal precedent. Of course. Land snatching. Let's see. Land. Sea.
Hello, handsome. Is that a 10-gallon hat?
So just sign this right here.
Oh, okay, give us a hand. Work.
Okay, folks, let's wind it out.
The heroic sheriff rallies his citizens in the wildest finish the West has ever seen.
Oh, ow! Have you ever seen such cruelty?
A Man Called Horse. English aristocrat John Morgan is captured, enslaved, and treated like an animal by a Native American tribe. He comes to respect his captors' culture and gain their respect. He is aided in understanding the Sioux by another captive, Batiste, the tribe's half-breed fool, who had tried to escape and was hamstrung behind both knees. Determining that his only chance of freedom is to gain the respect of the tribe, he overcomes his repugnance and kills 2 warriors from the neighbouring enemy, Shoshone tribe, which allows him to claim warrior status. After his victory, he proposes marriage to one of the women with the horses taken in battle as bride price, and undergoes painful initiation rites, taking the native name Shakawunkan, or Horse, as his Sioux name. He becomes a respected member of the tribe and ultimately their leader. The shocking ceremony where Morgan is suspended is burned into my memory.
When you first brought me here, you said I was a horse, an animal. And to me, you were mean, vicious, ignorant, superstitious, benighted savages. And when you fight your enemies and their arrows pierce your skins, you bleed like all men. But it seems to me that you only live to hunt your buffalo, to fight the Shoshone, and to have your women. I know you would say to me, what else is there? One day, I will be a chief.
A man called Horse. To finally become an Indian warrior, he must perform the sun vow ceremony, perhaps the most electrifying ritual ever seen.
Form 2 lines! One in the front and one back here!
The Cowboys. His ranch hands abandon him to join a gold rush. Rancher Will Anderson must find replacement cowboys for his 400-mile cattle drive. He drives into deserted Bozeman, Montana, where his friend, Ance Peterson, suggests hiring local schoolboys. Anderson visits the school but departs, skeptical that such boys could handle the job. Next morning, the boys show up at Anderson's ranch to volunteer for the drive. Anderson tests their ability to stay on a bucking horse, and they take turns. Cimarron, a boy slightly older than the others, rides up. He subdues the test horse, but gets into a fight with Slim, the next oldest boy. With no other options, Anderson hires all of the boys, though he sends Cimarron away after he pulls a knife on Slim during another fight. A boy, when I first saw this movie, of course I was sold. One I will never forget.
Yes, sir. My name's Clyde Potter. They call me Fats.
Then enjoyed the gut myself.
What are you going to use for hands on this drive of yours, huh? Them little bitty boys down there? Come on, you know better than that, Mr. Anderson. You know what you're going to need? Trundle them boys across the prairie, don't you? A baby carriage.
Oh, whatever I need, I'll get. I don't expect to get to Belfouche with one single head of beef. But I'm cornered. So I'm taking you on. This is a 00. This is Belfouche. In between is 400 miles of the meanest country in the West. And the only way we're gonna get through is if you take orders. You'll get the best food in the territory, no rest, damn little sleep, and come with grit teeth. Because, gentlemen, that's when school really begins.
You know, in the late war between the states, I served under an officer just like you.
Is that right?
As a matter of fact, I shot that military gentleman in the buttocks, just outside Vicksburg.
Point your ears now, son. Because you ain't running back to Mr. Will Anderson with them eyes rolling back in your head, telling him that there's these real bad men that been following us day and night. You're not gonna say that. Because I'm gonna come to you some night when it's real dark. I'm gonna come to you on tiptoe. So you ain't never gonna be able to hear me.
Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid. In 1909, near Las Cruces, New Mexico, Pat Garrett is riding with men working for the Santa Fe Ring when he is ambushed and coldly killed by his associates, including one John W. Poe. In 1881, in Old Fort Sumner, New Mexico, William H. Bonney, known as Billy the Kid, is passing the time with friends, shooting chickens for fun. Garrett, an old friend of Billy's, rides into town with Deputy Sheriff J.W. Bell and joins the diversion. Later, over drinks, Garrett informs Billy that the electorate wanted him out of the country, and that in 5 days, when he becomes sheriff of Lincoln County, he will make Billy leave. Some wonderful moments in this film.
Now Sam Peck, a hard new look at two old friends.
Times have changed. Times, maybe. Not me. Get to it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I hope he gets away.
Well, he won't.
It's going to be a loose rope and a long drop. Well, I aim to bring the kid in. And I'm aiming to please him.
He'll track you down, Billy, and get you.
You know, this ain't no time of the year to go looking for somebody.
I don't know where he went.
Gotta do better than that, Ruthie.
I got to the point where I don't do nothing for nobody unless there's a piece of gold attached to it.
Where is he?
Fort Sumner. Fort Sumner.
Where are we going anyway?
Fort Sumner.
Huh? I know where the kid's at. I'll tell you where he's at.
Old Pat ain't gonna like this.
James Coburn.
Bill!
Chris Christopherson.
Come on in, Pat.
Jason Robards. Slim Pickens. Catty Corrado. Jack Elam.
That'd be me, Sheriff.
Rita Coolidge. Chill Wills.
Yeah.
And introducing in his first dramatic motion picture performance,
Plums.
recording star Bob Dylan.
They say that Pat Garrett's got your number. Or sleep with one eye open when you wonder. Under the barrel of his gun.
Bonnie's killed Bell. Bonnie's killed Bell.
Yeah, he's killed me, too.
Sheriff Pat Garrett.
Adios.
High Plains Drifter, a mysterious unnamed stranger, rides out of the desert into the isolated mining town of Lago in the American Old West. 3 gunmen hired to protect the town taunt and threaten him. He kills all 3 with little effort. When the attractive, blonde townswoman, Callie Travers, flirtatiously insults him, he rapes her in the livery stable. That night, in his hotel room, the stranger dreams of Jim Duncan, a US Marshal being whipped to death by outlaws, Stacy Bridges and brothers, Dan and Cole Carlin, as Lago's citizens watch in silence. Eastwood at his best.
You wonder if there's a man left in this town!
I'll kill every man in Lago! I'll kill you!
eyes of God.
I'm not your brother.
Monty Walsh, an old cowboy facing the final days of the Old West era. He and his friend, Chet Rollins, another long-time cowhand, work on cattle ranches, preferring to do nothing that can't be done from a horse. Their lives are divided between months on the range and the occasional trip into town. Camaraderie and competition with other cowboys fill their days. When they find that the Crossbar Ranch that they had worked was wiped out during the last winter, they take work at the /Y Ranch, where their old boss, Cal Brennan, is the range manager. At the /Y, they meet an old friend, Shorty Austin, another cowhand and bronco buster. Easygoing end-of-an-era western.
I ain't interested. I'm afraid you'll have to be. They've given up on the /Y. For the time being, they want to fence in all their land. That's all.
That's going to be a lot of fence.
Look, Monty. Do you have any idea how many cowhands there were in this country 10, 15 years ago? Well, there's a hell of a lot fewer now, and pretty soon there won't be hardly any.
Oh, come on, Chet. Things ain't that bad.
Yeah, they are, Monty. Oh, you can ride from Texas way up into Canada and back again. That's fine. But ain't nobody gonna pay you for doing it.
Chet got married.
Did you ride 40 miles to tell me that?
How come we never got married?
You never asked me.
I never thought of it. The way things are going, cowboy doesn't make enough money to live right, let alone get married. I don't know what else I could do.
Yes, sir, Mr. Walsh. Matter of fact, I've heard a lot about you. Not all of it bad, either. How would you like to be Texas Jack Butler, star cowboy, bronco buster, and all-around wild man of the West?
Monty Walsh will do.
We couldn't get work. A lot of good boys can't get work.
If I was starving, I couldn't rustle.
Well, you ain't. You're getting your 3 squares every day. It ain't like we was rustling many better we know. Makes no difference. They belong to /Y. /Y? Stop blatting about something that ain't anymore. The kind of life you're talking about is dead. Snow buried it last winter.
It ain't dead. As long as there's one cowboy taking care of one cow, it ain't dead!
Dumb egg sucking.
Nobody gets to be a cowboy forever.
There's gonna be a place for us, a place where we belong, to stand outside just looking in has got to be
Man in the Wilderness, a classical survival story told partly through flashbacks to Zachary Bass's past. After being left for dead after a bear attack by his fellow trappers, he undergoes a series of trials and adventures as he slowly heals and equips himself while he tracks the expedition, apparently intent on retribution for his abandonment, while earning the respect of the American Indians he encounters. However, when he finally confronts his fellow trappers and Captain Henry, he chooses not to seek revenge, but instead to focus on returning to his infant son, a precursor to the Revenant.
Special about Zach Bass. Why can't you let go of him?
Zach was a stowaway. He run off from an orphanage and sailed out to my ship in Boston Harbor. I liked his unfearing look and kept him on. Drew a circle like around himself. Nobody dared enter it.
think he's alive, don't you, Captain?
Yes, Fogarty, he's alive. I've known it all along. Kill him.
Steppy. Nie. Wa chishale. Teo.
Keep away, Zach Bass.
Is it Bass? Well, is it Bass?
If you liked this video, make sure you hit the subscription button so you will see all my new videos as they come up. Take a look at my channel to see my many other videos. The link is in the description. Leave me a comment. Check out my Facebook page as well. I appreciate your likes and subscribers. I am Wrangler. Adios. See you again soon. The channel for westerns and more.